Your dad was born there. Respectable. Big honorable. Is this on? This is the first of two. Let's watch this. Okay. Is this the first one? It has the time on here. Yeah, okay, this is the first one. Bro, let me get the hold up. I gotta get the Word document going. We gotta get the Word document going. I'm about to just copy this one from Zaku and then erase. Bro, I got a format, dude. Make a format real quick. Hold up. Oh my god, there's so many screens. What do we do? Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom. Okay. Is this not? There we go. Okay. So this is RyuThe46th versus Superpattz. So Superpattz, RyuThe46th. You know, if you do this, right, eventually you'll have a big ass catalog of second game was laggy. Oh, let's see. All right. So, as always, we just want to just watch it over. Just put it on 2 times, just see if we can see any patterns. Okay. Oh, okay. Appropriate V-trigger selection for the matchup. V-trigger 2, niche viability versus Ryu, because it counters the fireball, and fireball is super good for Ryu. Well, it's super nice. If he doesn't have it, it's much harder for him. Okay, there we go. One of the things I've noticed just in this game is that you've jumped into the corner a lot. That's a bad habit. I often do that. Shouldn't do it. Oh man, okay. Let's look at the second one. So let's see, jumped into corner. Cornering self. Cornering self. Oh, double water? Get hit with a double? Yo, the triple? I'm running out. I'll just go get more. I feel so hydrated. My hands. I'm not gonna lie. One of the best life decisions I've ever made is putting that option there. Putting that there. Okay. Okay. Sora. Broken. Yosh. Round 2. Ryu is a hobo, but he shaves his armpits. How does he shave his armpits, but he has wild eyebrows? Okay. A lot of jump. Okay. My bad. Oh. Again into the corner. Okay. Okay. Ryu wins. Okay, let's go back to the first one now. I saw jumping into the corner generally Lot. Back jumps. Back jumps. I saw back jumps. Okay. So let's look. Yeah, the Red Bull ones were from like a promo thing. They were limited time. You had to get like a can of Red Bull. I had a Red Bull. I literally almost died. Like, I had a Red Bull for like the first time, like maybe 2 weeks ago. I literally almost died. Like, it was... Woo! Okay. Okay. Retreat, fireball. Step kick. Okay. Surprise run. Surprise run. Oh, he messed that up. He messed that up. Yo, I see you, Blue Eyes. Thanks for the host, man. So, let's go back here. What you choose to do at 99 seconds is pretty important. This retreating... So I'm going to assume this is a fireball attempt. This retreating fireball, not a bad option. If he 99 seconds jumps, you will still have time to anti-air him, I think. Generally, you want to be careful about giving up space, though, but still not a bad option. Generally, unless you have like a super strong idea of what they're going to do, you want to take a pretty conservative option in 99 seconds. You're just feeling it out. So this is not a bad choice. You give up a little bit of space, but he doesn't choose to walk forward, so it's not really the end of the world. Okay. Step kick. So this here, if he blocked or parried this could be a pretty nice frame trap. You can follow up your fireball with step kick. You have to do the step kick in the run right away. But if you hit them on the tip, with like the tip of your foot, it's very difficult for them to punish you. So that's not a bad thing to go for. It was just weird that he got hit. He just failed his parry. Okay, he jumped. This here is an anti-air opportunity. Pretty straightforward one. These are just hard to get. But like, we just got to get them. Like, this is free heavy uppercut damage. Right there. Okay. Ooh, let's go back. Okay, another dart in run. Okay. Oh, he's really struggling to react. This here. So surprise run. Not that bad. It's basically a command dash. One thing to note is that Ken's run, no matter what, at bare minimum is always 22 frames. It takes 22 frames for you to get to the cancelable portion of run. Ken's run is cancelable. So you can press it, and if you let go, he'll run for like 44 frames or something like that. If you press anything after frame 22, he'll cancel out of it into the next thing. So if you're trying to sneak up on the opponent, you want to pay very close attention to what distance you're at, because it's always superior to dash forward as a surprise than it is to run forward as a surprise when you are close enough for dash to reach. So right here, a minor optimization you could make to this surprise attack is to exchange run for dash, because run is 15 frames, which is significantly less than 22. So this is a little bit easier for him to react to, but you still get away with it. Like, it's still fairly quick, and if they're not expecting it, it can be difficult to react to. So the throw, this is a 13 plus 13 on knockdown, and it puts them pretty far away. Being plus 13 means that you can follow up. You could choose to do a meaty heavy kick here, or you could walk forward and try to manually time a normal attack, like a stand medium punch or something like that. A little tricky. It's a lot easier to follow up in the corner. Here, you choose the dash. If this player was more aware of the matchup and ready to react, this is your life. This is a health bar. Like, you're taking damage right here, because you can always 100% react with jab. When you see them dash, you can always react with jab. So this is another sneaky surprise attack. He tries down medium punch. He's just too slow. Now, I'm not saying that these are poor choices to make. Not at all in the slightest. I'm just pointing out that they're the consequences of these, right? You want to separate risk from consequence. This is like a more of a general thing. Okay, so the consequence could be that he interrupts you with jab. But if he's never in his life ever interrupted a dash, you could get away with that on him. So the risk would be low, right? You want to try to separate these things. This is why you see like top level players will have like a pixel of life versus like Dalsim or Sagat, and they'll just hold forward. They'll just fucking, hello Dalsim, please come into my arms, Haagen-Dazs, and they fucking grab them, right? You'll just see top level players do risky shit, and it's like, what? That's because they've identified the difference between the practical risk and the consequence. So when you're employing surprise attack strategies, you want to be aware of whether or not they've like caught on or whether or not they're ready. Because while this has big potential negative consequences, the risk is dependent on the context. So again, this is more of a shenanigan than anything, a shenanigan. Okay, big block of Ruski. CC punish. Okay, so an optimization here we can make is, how long have I been a Street Fighter player? I started playing Street Fighter when Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out on PC. So very late into the game. So here, what you want to do, I mean, obviously you know this. You want to run cancel this. To get optimal damage, you want to do run cancel, target combo 1, special move. Okay. So here is this is the number one thing strategically that I would look at during this match. Just overall is jumping into the corner. This happens a lot. Right here, you have him cornered. If you choose to jump, he can actually auto-correct uppercut you. Like, he could actually put... It'd be very difficult to do, but he could DP you. And higher level players will... They will punish you for this, right? But before all of that, let's just consider the consequences of the situation. So we have him in the corner, right? If we jump into the corner, we lose all of the benefits of having the corner. It can be somewhat difficult to defend mix-ups right here, right? But we knocked him down with EX Shoryuken. He can't do anything but EX himself. And he can reactively anti-air you off the jump. Like, it is 100% possible for him to just put DP in backwards right here and get you, because you start jumping before the reversal window, right? So here, even as Ken or any character, you see he's not even anywhere near getting up yet. He's still on fire. He has all of these frames till right here to react to you jumping. So he can actually 100% just go, oh, he forward jumped, I'm gonna DP, right? He chooses to parry, which ends up getting him blown up by an empty jump throw. But giving up the corner is really huge. I mean, and for what, right? He can't, I mean, he has to, if he EX DPs, okay, you know, you're still really, really far ahead, and If he goes for anything that's not EXDP and you go for a regular media attack, you just beat him. And you end up in a really, really strong situation. Probably the strongest situation you could get, right? The back throw here into the corner, a wise choice. Any point in time you can get the opponent in the corner, you want them there and you want to keep them there. Right? See, there, what is it? Let's look at his inputs. Oh, okay, we gotta wait for another one. Okay, here. So you go into the corner again. Okay, so this meaty is like, okay, all right, what do I follow up with? Right? You go, okay, I'm gonna follow up with a mix. So you decide to go for mix. He's doing DP. He's mashing DP. He mashed out DP right there. If he had took his time, this would have been a cleaner anti-air. But he mashed it, and he ended up getting autocorrect fireball. Or backwards fireball. He himself jumps into the corner, giving up all the pressure. All right. Okay. Yeah, I am guilty of this as well. Like, this is like, it's so enticing because you get the schmicks. Are you going to cross up? Are you going to empty low? Are you going to empty throw? Are you going to do a fake cross up? Right? Like, you have a lot of, if you position yourself, you can be very ambiguous as to what side you're going to land on in the corner. And it's super enticing. But in the long run, and by the long run, I mean in the span of an additional second, it gives up the strongest advantage in the game, right? The space behind you to the wall, is the most important resource. The space behind you to the wall is more important than your health bar unless you're going to die from the next connection, right? Unless you are absolutely 100% going to be KO'd from the next time they touch you, the space behind you is the most important resource. Excuse me. Okay, let us proceed hence. Okay, what is this here? So neither of you guys have EX. This must be maybe a fireball mistake. Let's see. Oh no, this is a mash city. You just mash. I would say think about the matchup here, right? Think about, okay, Ryu forward through you. Okay, what do you get after forward throw? Nathan. Ryu gets Nathan's hot dogs. He's not doing shit after forward throw. He's too far away. Pretty much, if you get thrown to the middle of the screen, unless it's a command grab, nobody can really do anything to you. Everything is a shenanigan and reactable, right? So here, to attempt to reversal is a little bit, it's very unnecessary because he can't actually do anything. So you're right here is a reversal into nothing. Nathan's hot dogs. All right, so there's a meme on the internet. It's called straight bread, and it's this guy on the couch, and he's eating straight bread. He's just got 2 slices of white bread, and then the guy who's filming goes, "What you got between that bread?" And he goes, "Nathan." Nathan's hot dogs. Okay, so V-Trigger 2 is good in this matchup because it goes through Fireball. This is very significant for neutral here. However, just a little bit too far away. Let's turn on the hitbox viewer and see how far away we are. I summon forth. Is it gonna work? Oh, it do. Okay. Okay. So he goes for EX. So you see how Ryu has that additional green square in front? He's got a green rectangle on his front foot, and his hands are covered in a green, right? That is what you are aiming for when you use Shinryuken. When you use Shinryuken, you're aiming for the tips of his hands. So right here, it's just a little teensy. It should be just too far away. The suction of Shinryuken comes out on frame 7. You can see how our purple box does not overlap with that green box. This is just a little bit too far spaced. It's kind of difficult to tell. This is just outside the tip. But you actually need to be kind of close. You actually need to be kind of close. The suction of Shinryuken, a good way to remember it is it goes about as far as the tippity tip of Ken's stand roundhouse. That's just unfortunate. But that is a good thing to do in this matchup, and that is what you want to use it for. He kind of messes up his punish. Lucky. Okay. Chillin'. Again, here's this. He's jumping into situations where, like, the anti-air is kind of free. These are not very ambiguous jumps, and these you're well prepared in the sense that you're very far away. He can't really cross up. So maybe you attempt to go for air to air here, or you're just looking to jump. But those just need to be reacted to. I would say that this maybe suggests a little bit of a problem of you're going for what you're going for, but maybe you're not really looking at what he's going for, right? Like, you're just ready to do your plan. You're just going for what you're going for, right? But you're not waiting for him to give you a chance to adapt to it, right? Yeah, he definitely jumped before you. So, I mean, this might look like a air to air, but there's no button here. So, okay, after throw, he gets nothing. Just remember that. Pressure is over. Just block. Okay. This is actually punishable. This raw activation is punishable. Okay, raw Tatsu. Nani. That's very dangerous. Okay. Okay, so he raw Tatsus. The reaction is jump back. I think, again, this here is a sign of, like, okay, you're just going ahead of him. You're just, like, playing your own game right now. You're just going, okay, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do before he does anything. Yeah, sometimes it can be difficult to consider all the possibilities at once. So if you're trying really hard to focus on the ground, Blue Ice is right. Dasani is absolutely correct. If you're trying really hard to focus on the ground, it can be difficult to anti-air and vice versa, right? This is why it's very important to have sequences and a game plan. Sequences and game plans are really critical because they allow you to efficiently use your brain power, right? So you want to have an idea of what you're going for, and you want to have some pre-canned, very strong, effective sequences that you can employ to that advance towards your game plan, right? So, like, for example, if they jump and you have to think, oh, he jumped, what can I do? I can stand medium kick. I can down fierce. I can stand fierce. I could stand jab. I could stand medium punch. I could air to air jumping light kick, rising light kick. I could air to air rising back jump medium punch. I could light Shoryuken, medium Shoryuken, heavy Shoryuken. I could walk forward, cross cut. I could crouching DP. If you have to process that all is actually going to happen very quickly for a lot of players. Like, that whole list will just be like, right? But that split second that it takes to process that is enough time. Enough time transpires in that split second for something really bad to happen. So you want to have it already prepared. Like I was talking about earlier, you want that lizard brain ass fucking brain stem just up. DP came out. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you want to happen. You want to have practiced and thought through that sequence. Like, okay, if this situation arises, my sequence is this. anti-air HDP run meaty, or anti-air medium DP walk up into advantageous range, or stand medium kick run cancel, or down fierce run cancel, or stand medium kick dash forward cross under, right? You want to have a sequence locked and loaded, and you just want it to come out as subconsciously as possible. You want that lizard brain shit. You know what I mean? That's why it's really important to have a game plan and sequences, because you get to free up the mental resources to observe and adapt. And observing and adapting is of critical importance. Okay, here's an A. This one was a little bit harder to AA. This jump, I would say, is a lot harder to AA because he might cross up. He might not. A little ambiguous to see, but still possible. Okay, sweeperoosk. Schmifty. He parries. There's a dash. This, much like jumping, is just something that's got to get reacted to. This is hard to do. This is really hard to do. But right here, this is 244 damage. This Ryu player right here on this minus this what is his dash? His dash is 18, 16? This here, so -2 into this dash. I think his dash is his dash 15. This is 244 damage. If you reacted to this would have been really huge. First to adapt wins. Generally, yeah. So he got away with that, but that's just like jumping. Okay, attempted. 16. Yo, what's up, Chili? Hadouken. Okay. So here is just another hard thing. Okay. Oh, combo city. This is a good combo. But again, yo, what's up, Rubes? I see you, man. Again, forfeiting this massive advantage. I cannot drive home this enough. I cannot English speak the words of language. I can't drive this home enough. Having your opponent in the corner is really, really good. So jumping into the corner here is like, it better pay off. Like, it needs to pay out. In this situation, it does, right? You get the opportunity to do the run cancel combo, but still giving up a lot of advantage there. Okay. Now he's close to dizzy here. If you suspect he's going to want to contest, I would maybe stay away because he's got V trigger and almost super. But when you have them high on dizzy, you can really encourage a lot of people to make some critical errors because of the pressure of the situation. Like, it's very, like, you want to try everything you can not to get fucking stunned right here. So walking back right here, it's not a bad play, but I would say that going for the meaty is a little bit more, it's appropriate risk. Or appropriate, Okay. Okay, jumps. Okay. Yeah, he's jumping a lot. Most of his damage comes from jumps or dashes. Okay. So this is not bad because it works out very well. But there's an optimization here. This, you could have chosen to do either medium punch or heavy Shoryuken into a cancel. Generally, you do not want to attempt to anti-air with just Shinryuken because it's not super powerful. Shinryuken can get stuffed. It can whiff because it's kind of slow. And you don't get as good a juggle afterwards. But yeah, it does not have invincibility, but this works out. And to be honest, at this distance, it's if you are saying if in this situation you go, oh, I can suction him in, that's a good observation. That's a very good usage of your character's tools, right? So if you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna suck him, I'm gonna give him the SUCC, wise choice. But at this distance, it looks like that was not a necessity. But that's still a decent use of it. You just want to be careful anti-airing with this move. Here, the EX Hurricane kick. The EX Hurricane kick, I would say... Oh, damn! Okay. I see you. I see you. Yo, thanks for the subscription, man. I see you. We out here. I see you. Oh, I gotta hit that button. I gotta hit that thank you button. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That's a lot of subscribblers. So, right here, right? This is... We need to get to the notes. We're getting a little bit off track. When you review replays, keep the Word document on hand. I'm actually getting a little bit off track. So round one, I want to put a strength here. Let's see. Following, not overextending, but also giving up the corner. Missing a lot of AA opportune, AA chances. Still giving up the corner. Making notes. Yeah, hella down with the notes, right? So, before we get back to talking about Shinryuken AA and the follow-up to Shinryuken, let's talk about these notes here. So when you review a replay, right? Firstly, again, I wholeheartedly, absolutely recommend reviewing replays in bunches, right? If you play a game and then you lose, man, ain't nobody want to fucking watch that replay. Be real with me. Be real. When you play a game, even if you win, you don't want to. You just want to play again, right? I know I want to play again. Don't worry about watching the replays then, unless like you're curious about something specific. Save your replays and watch them in a session. So, you know, if you game 3 or 4 times a week, just make one of your sessions a replay session. You don't even have to watch your own replays. Just watch pros play or other players you know, so you could copy their technology and shit like that, right? And when you do watch replays, break out the Word document. Break out the Word document, right? And what you're looking for is you're gonna look for patterns. This is one of the big advantages of watching your replays in big bundles, is that you get to find obvious patterns in your play over the long term. So for example, with Superpattz here, if Superpattz watched maybe like 4 or 5 of his matches from, in a session, he might say, oh wait, it wasn't just versus that Ryu, versus a lot of characters I'm jumping into the corner. Oh, okay, that wasn't a fluke. Let me try and work on that. And then you can come down to the notes or whatever and just be like, things to practice. Think about not jumping into the corner. What sequences do I have? What can I do in the corner? Well, I could cage them in and hold them there for a really long time and see if they break under the pressure. Or I could be a little bit more aggressive with my attacks, my normals, because they can't move away from them. Or I could try and back away and trap them with fireballs and force them to jump, right? Just think about the options you have in there, and you might come to think of that because you recognize that pattern, right? So you want to watch your replays in big chunks. When you watch your replays, even if you're Ivan Domination or you're Knuckle-Do or Daigo or Tokido or Lord, what are you standing up for, Woshige himself, even if you are a extremely high level player with like max proficiency, you can still literally improve everything. Like literally everything. So when you're watching your replays, try to isolate 1 or 2 things to work on, right? So find one thing that you liked about the replay. Like, okay, this is my strength, right? Yo, what's up, Deli Ninja? Is it locked? I'm sorry about that. There should be transcoding options, but if there isn't, my most sincere apologies. That is out of my control. So find a strength you can get, right? So like, okay, this was one thing that I did well. And find one weakness. Like, oh, this is one thing I didn't like, and work on those, right? Yeah, overloading practice is bad. That's correct. Sevens is correct. You want efficient, targeted practice, right? So, for example, let's say this Ryu player is getting away with jumps, but you find that like, oh, I could have done this, you know, here I could have used overhead to get a little bit more advantage. Well, the most prevailing thing from this replay is not usage of overhead, right? It's probably the jump. So try to pick things that are like in your weight class. Try to pick something you can grip onto. Don't try to get too fancy. Don't try to get too advanced. Just try to find things that you can actually practically do, right? Practically work with. That is why I recommend finding a strength. Don't only look for the things you did wrong, look for the things you did well. Because if you ever get stuck or confused or lost and you're like in a rut, working on your strengths is going to be way easier to gain traction and figure out something and get better at it than trying to find a weakness you might not even know you have. And then after you identify one of the strengths of the replay, one of the weaknesses in the replay, think of practical ways you can practice that, right? Think of methods, drills to improve on the strengths and weaknesses, right? So, for example, we're jumping into the corner in this replay, right? That's a weakness. What can we do to improve that? Go down to the bottom of the thing where you're putting your practice. Like, okay, these are the things we're going to practice. And we're really only trying to list 1 or 2 things here, right? So come down here and write, like, think of ways to apply pressure in the corner that's not jump over, right? Just write a note to yourself like that. So then the next time when you go into the lab, right? The next time when you go into the lab, you can go, oh, let me look at this situation. Because, I mean, I know we've all loaded up the training mode like, yeah, I should find some sick tech, bro. I'm about to put it on Twitter. It's about to be sick. And then you just sit there and you just practice like, you know, nothing, right? So you want to try to be specific. Give yourself practical things to do. All right, so Shoryuken here. This right here, at a higher level, this right here is a little bit mismanagement of resource. So you choose to EX after this, which is not bad, but look at how close you are to super combo, right? You are super duper close to having CA. You could, and another thing to consider is he's a round up, right? So you're down on rounds. Round victories are a resource, right? So round victories and game victories in a set are a resource. You can take more potentially risky and higher negative consequence actions the more rounds and the more games you have, right? So like right here, Superpattz cannot really afford to make that many mistakes or take that many uncalculated risks because he'll lose, right? But the Ryu player, because let's just say he's up in the set, right? Let's just imagine it's like a first to 5. Let's just imagine this Ryu player had 4 victories and Superpattz had 1. This Ryu player would be on set point. He could totally just fucking wake up CA if he wanted, right? He could just blow all the bars. And because he has so many games behind him in our little theoretical here, it wouldn't really be that bad, right? So you gotta consider these as a resource. So that's gonna affect how you want to spend your meters, right? So I would disagree with this EX Hurricane kick here because you are so close to getting super. You're one heavy Shoryuken and like one more. You're one combo away from super right there, right? Okay, and another thing to consider is his V trigger is on, so he's not going to be able to V reversal. So even if you do HDP, get Oki, right? You do HDP, get Oki, you can block string him into building up EX, and then you can actually 100% secure a checkmate, right? Because you could have chipped him out. That's just something I was saying, something I would consider. Oof. A lot of surprise attacks. That's one thing I noticed too. A lot of surprise dart ins. Backing away. I also put backing away here. Backing away mid screen. Okay. Let us look at game 2. Okay, let's look at game 2. Word document. Okay. I've run out of liquids. That is an uncomfortable sentence. I've run out of liquids. Oh no. Okay.
Round 1. Fight.
Alright, let's turn this on here. Jump here. Sweep. There's a dart in right there. This is similar to what we've seen before, right? You're not really poking, not really using fireball, not really getting into position for normals, but then there's the dart in. I definitely think that you were prepared to do this very far ahead of time. You were just looking to dart in. And in that moment, you were like, oh, okay, he's kind of chilling. Now's my chance. And then he ended up jumping. Oh, good anti-air. Good anti-air, but... Yeah, that's true. That is true. Even if it's super laggy though, we can still find something, you know what I mean? I'm very much I'll make the screen. I'm gonna make the screen big for this. Shout out to Cyclops. If you don't think Cyclops is cool, then you have whack low tier opinions. Optic Blast is sick. Anyway, let's talk about online and lag. So straight up, lag is no good, right? The online fucking sucks. That's it. It just fucking sucks, right? You lucky I'm talking about something. All right. Anyway, the online is bad. All right, it's just bad, right? But let's be real with ourselves, right? Let's be real with ourselves right here. Most of the time when people lose, and I mean like 75, 80% of the time, when you lose, when I lose, when, you know, Shin Kirito 42069 XXPZY SLY ER, when they lose, it's not because of the lag. It's because of a decision they made. It's because of a set of decisions they made. Sure, sometimes the lag, it happens in a critical moment, and you cannot deal with it, right? But most of the time, it's a decision-making error that causes losses. That, and a lot of people will get upset and frustrated with the lag. Like, I know for a fact, when I see it lag, I'm just like, fuck, this game is worthless. Just get angry. But the truth of it is, you can actually just keep a cool head and deal with it. So, most of the lag is bad, and it affects your play, but most of the time, the decisions you make are independent of the fucking shitty net play, right? Like, most of the time, people lose to things that can happen offline. And that's a really tough, frustrating, and annoying thing to deal with, but sometimes it be like it do, you know? I had to make the screen big for that one. Y'all lucky I was talking about some shit. Well, you said Jubilee was useless? You said Jubilee was useless? All right, bro. All right. Y'all don't like the main characters. All right, I see you. All right, you ain't read no X-Men. All right. All right. I see you, Rubes. I see you. Okay, there's another Darden. There's another Darden. So, I'm going to list out round 1 of game 2. Lots of Dart-ins. AA'd with crouch HP. Chili _ 501. Those are big facts. Those are factual statements, my guy. Okay. So you got kind of tuned into the AA. You're doing a lot better with AAs now. But there's still a lot of dart in attacks. This, I think, is a sign of... So this can work, right? And it's definitely working against this guy to an extent. But I would think about your strategy as a house, right? This is a metaphor. You're building a house with your strategy. So you load up the match, right? Your opponent is the ground. Your opponent is the ground. You're building a house. Oh, Ryu, I need to build my house a little bit this way. Oh, it's Karen. I need to build my house this way. Take certain precautions, right? If your house is only made up of surprise attacks, it's gonna be pretty shaky, because once the opponent gets tuned in to when you're trying to dart in and surprise them, they can really cut you off at the pass and really blow you up for it. Furthermore, what we're seeing here is your opponent is kind of just doing shit, and you're going for the surprise attack, and it's not really working out as much as you need it to get the victory here, because he's already has jumped. He already has done dash back. He already has done button that would never reach unless you move forward, right? So in this I would say, I would also list here what space, not choosing appropriate space to be in verse. I want to put position here. Position to be in vs RyuThe. Right? So like, you're not seeking out an advantageous position to be in, right? You're walking back, waiting for that moment to thread the needle, and boom, you're on top of him, right? Now that's good to mix those in. You must absolutely take advantage of the possibility that can happen. But if that's the foundation of your strategy, sometimes it can just get hard countered without them even knowing they're doing it. Right? Oh, that was good from him. That was a good AA he did. Okay, back jump. Again, I really want to push this home. The space behind you, the spacing behind you is more important than your life bar. Unless you are going to die from the next time they touch you, the space behind you is the most important resource. So here, he just chooses to walk forward, and you're walking back, and you lose a bunch of space. He starts out with this. If you had just chose to move forward cautiously and like move forward until you get to a range where he can touch you, and then start walking and blocking a little bit more cautiously until you understand like the timing of the normals. But you just give up so much space right here. You never really want to walk back unless you absolutely have to. It's hard to do. I mean, you'll see even pro players, they'll just walk full screen for like no reason, give up a good position. It's really hard to do, but you want to try not to walk back as much as possible. This is another reason why I recommend crouch blocking as like the default way you should be trying to defend stuff in Street Fighter. It's because it also helps you not to walk back too much. Okay. You guys are swinging. Dart in. Oh. Okay. Anti-airs again. Okay. Oh, he didn't super. He could have had it right there. So here, let's go back. Right here, in this position, if you're like, okay, I think he's gonna walk, right? I think he's gonna walk away really far, or I think he's gonna stand up. Sweep is not a poor choice because it's a long range low, but you have to have it. You have to shoot it with accuracy because, man, you can get exploded for missing this, right? So I would be a little bit more conservative with my options here. I would think like, what can I do versus Ryu that will get me a good position, but also more importantly will not just get me killed? Because a lot of these things are just like, oh, I'm gonna jump at him, I'm gonna dash at him, I'm gonna run at him. A lot of these things are just like Death City. Okay. Shenanigan. Hard anti-airs. So he jumps here. Just gotta react. Like that's them's just the breaks. I mean, even pro players miss these. It's really hard to do, but that's the answer right there. You want those lizard brain reactions. You want medium DP or HDP, depending on the space that come out. You just want it to spill out from your hands. You know what I mean? Okay. Okay, you're moving a lot. Okay. Crush counter. Do you know of the option select? Do you know of the V skill option select? I would say that if you can build up the habit of always option selecting the V skill, that would help out a lot. Okay, let's go back. He has an okay punish, but not the best one. Here's an example of why Shinryuken is a dicey AA. So he just stuffs it right here. You get more damage if you AA with medium. Yeah, you want to start with anti-air medium uppercut or anti-air heavy uppercut. That's just an optimization here. Okay, you can go through this. I believe you do. Yep, it's a good usage of it. Super here. I mean, okay, this corners him. This is not a bad choice because Ken's super gets you the corner no matter what, and you always get Oki here. You get to be plus 31 after super. He does not have any EX bar, so you get to go for your meaty no matter what. And, well, we know because he did CA, right? And, I mean, he's got V bar, so that's something to consider. Just talking about resources here. During the super, you want to think, okay, I know I get Oki, but what follow-up do I want to choose? Right? Here, I would opt to try and go for some staggered pressure or something involving a throw, because he can V-reversal a long block string. And if he gets to be +2, you don't want that. So here, you get to run. I think this was a little bit late, but this is the right choice. You just got to do it a little bit sooner, but you do not want to step kick. Just run up. You'll be +9, I believe. He does raw activate, which is really lucky for you, but you just want to run up and you get a meaty standing medium kick. Actually, let me bring that up. Let's bring that up to double check what our options are. I'll actually bring up the Ken guide. Okay. Hold up, I'm bringing it up. You think I would have this on my computer? Patreon.com/neverknowsbest00. So in the back of the Ken guide, there's literally all the Oki you could ever. Okay, here's Oki Zoomer. What did we hit him with? We hit him with CA. Is CA in? Is this the right one? Shh. You didn't see shit. Okay, so anyway, look, I'll be real with you. I didn't list CA in here because it's really obvious what to do after CA. You only have 2 options. But there is literally all the Oki you could ever want right here. This tells you what to do after you knock them down. But after CA, you have 2 options. You're +31. You can choose to forward dash twice. You'll be +1 in their face. Or you can choose to run, which is 22, right? So you'd be +9. You'll be +9 in their face, which means you can get a meaty stand fierce, meaty stand medium kick. If you delayed slightly, you'd be able to do down medium punch. So you have a lot of options here. Jumping into the corner. So, okay, he has the parry, right? But again, we'll give up so much position. If you want to bait the parry, you can also bait the parry by just crouching in front of him. If you crouch in front of him, it is equally possible you choose to do an attack, and equally possible you choose to do nothing. This bait, this jump over bait that you're doing, that is designed to bait out the parry, you can do this without giving up your position. All you have to do, just crouch in front of him. Okay. Jump back. Oh, wrist. That's your life. Okay. So let's go to our Word document. A lot of jump. Retreating. I spelled retreating wrong. Retreating like mad. Alright. Okay. So. Jumps into the corner. Backing away mid-screen. Back jumps. A lot of surprise dart-ins. Okay, recommendations. Find a normal or 2 that you prefer to use versus Ryu and focus on using those to get a better grasp of the Ken v Ryu neutral game. Use more fireball. VT2 discourages. Spelled it wrong. Discourages. VT2 discourages Ryu from using Fireball. Opening up chances for Ken to abuse his. Find a pressure sequence that does not include jump over for the corner. Yeah. Okay. So these I would recommend these 3 things. Find a normal or 2 that you prefer to use versus Ryu. Focus on using those to get a better grasp of the neutral game. A little bit more Fireball. Fireball is very good versus Ryu. Fireball will also help you sneak up on him. Let's go to training mode and talk about that. Fireball will help me sneak up on him. What do you mean? I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so let's pick RyuThe. V-Trigger 2 is good. Let's type out some practice stuff. So find the ranges which you can throw Fireball and land a jump in still. Let's see, practice. San MP confirms. Can I bring up the Word doc again? I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. I'll just send you the file. If you type !Discord, you can join the Discord server that we're hanging out in, and I'll just link you it right there. MP confirms / buffers and sequence in the corner. Roundhouse. Okay. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, I knew. Yeah, but I just wanted to shamelessly plug the Discord. Just wanted to shamelessly self-promote. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about this first one. Let's talk about using Fireball and how it complements V-Trigger 2. Okay, so you got VT2, right? You got Shinryuken. If Ryu throws a Fireball, you're going through it. You're blowing him up, right? You're blowing him up, right? You can even do it from quite far away. Now, what you're aiming for with this, like we said earlier, is you're aiming for this green extended square, right? You're aiming for this. That extended square in front of Ryu. You want to hit your suction on that, right? You can hit that from pretty far away. What this does is this real heavily discourages Ryu from doing fireballs. You want to take advantage of this, right? You want to throw your own fireball. This is super good in the neutral game for this match because you get to force Ryu to pop a squat and either reactively parry or take this chip damage, right? Now, I recommended practicing throwing fireballs where you can still land a jump in, right? Now, that might seem a little backwards, like when you think where you can anti-air. Well, yeah, true, but check this out. If you're throwing fireball and you don't have V-Trigger 2, you can bait Ryu to throw his fireball back, right? So Ryu has two options here. He can throw fireball back to negate yours, right? Or he could parry. If you bait him with your fireball to throw back, This is a really common strategy, actually. You see people do this all the time. And it's kind of a surprise attack thing, right? So this falls in line with kind of what you already want to do. You can bait him to throw back and get an idea of when he's throwing, right? You can go, oh, I'm going to do 2 fireballs and then see if he throws back. And when he starts throwing back, let him throw back for a little bit, make him comfortable throwing fireball, and then I'm going to jump at him. I'm going to encourage him to throw fireball by casting out mine, and then as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to jump at him. So I would get familiar with these distances where you can throw a fireball, but you can still jump, right? And I would try to throw a fireball from those distances so you can still surprise attack him, right? Because that's what you want to do. Now, I said earlier that surprise attacks are kind of a shaky foundation, and if this is like a kind of a gimmicky strategy, it's a shaky foundation, right? This is true, but less so than only having surprise dash and only having surprise run, because encouraging Ryu to throw fireballs complements our V-Trigger 2. So once we build up VT2 and Ryu's comfortable throwing fireballs, we could catch him slipping and V-Trigger him. So that's something I would look for in this matchup, right? If you're looking to kind of be a little bit aggressive, dart in, dart around, challenge his reactions, things like that, right? The second thing I recommend practicing after looking for those ranges is stand medium punch and thinking about using this in this matchup. If you hit stand medium punch, you can confirm it into heavy hurricane kick, right? And this is a good poke versus Ryu. This is a good poke versus Ryu. So by using this, right, you're gonna want to be in a space. This is good. Stand medium punch is gonna encourage you to be around right where I am right now, right? A little bit further away, it's not bad for throwing fireballs, and you can still jump in on him if you bait him to throw a fireball. A little bit further away, like, you know, right here, if he throws a fireball, you can still suck, right? A little bit closer, you're touching him with medium punch, you get plus frames. It will hit him if he's crouching, and importantly, it will help you counter his crouching medium kick. So you can still be active, you can still go first, and you can do this versus crouch medium kick. You could also do your crouch medium kick. You gotta believe me. Anyway, this is a good position to stand in. So I would think about using standing medium punch more in this matchup. I would say, you know, just try to practice confirming it a little bit. You can even buffer it. Right? If he runs into it, it's good. And the final thing is, I would say in the corner, consider standing in this position and going for roundhouse. Try to practice caging the opponent in the corner. Next time you corner a Ryu player, try to be about right here. And harry, or a little bit closer than that, try to be about at the tip of your roundhouse, Ken stand roundhouse, and harry him with roundhouse, right? Just harass and pester him. Don't worry about jumping in. Try to get jumping into the corner out of your mind. Because at this distance, right, at the tip of Ken's roundhouse, dash is an option. So this also goes into what you were trying to do originally, which is kind of sneak up on him, challenge his reactions, force him to deal with your shenanigans, right? But it's a little bit more refined. And if Ryu attempts to press maybe low forward, or he attempts to fireball, right? So you back up a little bit in that fireball baiting spot, can punish with V-Trigger 2. Go up here. If he tries to fireball, very high likelihood you'll crush counter the fireball. You get a crush counter combo in the corner. The crush counter combo you want to do is actually a little bit difficult, but you do this, run, wait, light hurricane kick. You have to practice this delay. That's the optimal. So I would say practice doing this. The other things I would say is spend a few games focusing only on AADP, because he was getting away with a lot of jumps, like a lot of jumps. I mean, you definitely have control, right? Like you definitely know. Oh, here's another one. Practice making stand hard punch, OS, V skill, run a habit. I would go into training mode, put the counter hit on random, and just practice hit and fierce, and then hit and run kind of late till you get the timing for the option select. If you don't counter hit him, the run should not come out. So there, I'm doing it too early. Let's put him on normal. I want to hit this so run does not come out. Yo, what's up? What's up, Next Gen? I see you, man. So I'm doing it too fast. You see a lot of high level chem players do this. It's not too difficult. I would say practice this a little bit. Try to make it a habit so that you always get this, right? The run combo you want to do is this. This is the combo you want. You're doing a lot of just fierce into special, which, you know, hitting a combo is good, but you want to get to the point where you're pretty optimized. So you want to be doing something like this. The things, they're not super duper straightforward. A lot of this stuff is things you'll have to practice in matches, but most of this is I believe it's fair to say that most of this is kind of like decision making beforehand. Like, you're gonna want to go into a few matches and just say, okay, here's what I'm gonna do, right? Let's see. So yeah, you want to find range. So if you want to be tricky and kind of get ahead of the opponent and do stuff, you can bait him to throw fireball back, right? That's going to complement V trigger 2, and it's going to complement, you know, duping him into throwing fireball so you jump in, hit a roundhouse on him. I would use more stand medium punch in this matchup. Just practice, get used to buffering it in training mode, throw it out. Get used to confirming it in training mode. So put the dummy on random block, right? Put the dummy on random block and just say, oh my god, you know. Bro, you ever gonna get hit? No, he's not. But yeah, I'm cursed. I'm 100% cursed. This is something you can confirm. This is a confirmable move. It's a little tricky. You can also just buffer it, which is not a bad option. But this is a confirmable move, especially if you're ready for it. And it's not bad. It's not a bad poke. Other pokes you want to use in this matchup are stand short, crouch medium punch. These are the anti-Ryu pokes. So this one, and this one are the buttons that you use to deal with RyuThe. Roundhouse is also good. So I practice using V skill 2 is the Slain Man. You're lucky I'm talking about something. So I'd practice using that. You know what? Let's just add in a little bit more. Stand medium punch, crouch medium punch, because you're at a point where you can freely choose to practice any of these if you want. You're not really. You have enough ability to pilot the character that you can kind of have a little bit of a heightened sense of awareness about what you're choosing to do while you play. You know how to drive the car. Sequences in the corner with roundhouse. So, again, I would say in the corner, try to do this type of situation, right? Right here, at the tip of roundhouse again, this complements the rest of what we just went over, right? So, back up a little bit. You can fireball. If you have V trigger 2, these fireballs are pretty almost kind of free. So you get nice chip damage. And if he chooses to throw back, you've encouraged him to throw back. Boom. V trigger 2 city or jump in city, right? Also, if you're harassing him with this, you could get a CC. Now the optimal combo for that is step kick into delay light hurricane kick. It's pretty tricky, but even if you just did uppercut, that would be better, because what we're focusing on with this corner pressure is not hitting him with CC roundhouse. We're focusing on something that's not going to involve us giving up the best position in the game, right? So when you have your opponent cornered, you are in the most empowering position you could get in a Street Fighter. So I would focus on, just harassing them with this. Just harass them with this. You can also option select this the same way that you can option select Fierce. So I would definitely practice that. And then let me put this on the bottom here. I would spend a few games just trying to do anti-air DP. Like, literally load up the game and be like, playing 3 games, I'm only worried about anti-air DPs. Everything else, kind of irrelevant. So just play, try to play a little bit normally, but just make a big goal of like, okay, if he jumps, anti-air DP. Usually, you want to use Fierce Uppercut to anti-air. Fierce Uppercut is the best because it gets the most damage. However, just like you saw, it can get stuffed. So if you react late, you want to try to use medium punch. You also want to be aware of the ranges of the DP. It can get really complicated really fast. But this is something you need to figure out to be extremely proficient with Ken. When can I Fierce DP and when do I need to use medium DP? As far as anti-airing goes, this is nice, but don't worry about it. This is actually just a bad habit. And this is a meme. Stand Fierce is a meme. Stand medium punch is also a meme. Just worry about medium and heavy DP. Just spend like 3 or 4 games like, okay, these are all I'm gonna try to get. Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of combo optimization stuff, but mostly you want to form a coherent and complementary game plan, right? So these things I've recommended, they all kind of help with some of the things that were going wrong. They play into the way you're already playing, and they go together, right? Like they complement each other. Thinking about the game in that way, saying like, okay, if I do this, what else can I smoothly move into? What's my next step here that's good for me? Thinking about the game in that way will help you be more accurate. You won't get into scrambly situations where it's like, okay, I know I want to be aggressive and challenge his reactions, but man, I just dashed and he just fucking jumped over me. Like, when do I get to thread my needle, right? If you have a little bit more of a well-rounded, and I mean well-rounded as in like complementary sets of actions, that will happen less. Okay, let me save this. This is going to the desktop. Save as desktop, Superpattz. Superpattz. Replay notes. I don't know if this is super duper ultra useful. I mean, of course, you need to look at your own replays, but I hope I was able to point out some things. I will paste this into the Discord right now and at you. I love music. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. Boomaroosk. All right. Yeah, man, I'm trying. The whole thing here is, this is like a symbiotic relationship, man. We're like I don't know. You know. Yeah. What? No, we learn together, right? Like, look at the replay. We get different opinions. We talk. We go back and forth, and then everybody prospers.